hakuna kitu ilitoka. So huwezi niambia watu wa Mnyoro wenye wako na watu kidogo hata tujui ni wanaweza fika milioni ngapi, wanaanza kutishia President Ruto hii, wanamtishia hii. So hata wamtishie for how long, sisi tunajua miaka ni 10 na wakikaa vibaya ni 15.
Women and families who has been traumatized because their children have been killed. Their children have been abducted. We hate children, we have families that we are seen, and it is painful.
How do you expect the security agents to work on a case without an OB? How?
It is very painful. We have families that are being traumatized, families who are burying their loved ones, their kids, women burying their husbands burying their wives, mothers burying their kids. And then we have a person who is coming to make a case. You had that is the recklessness that even Kimani Ichung'wah, the majority leader, peddled. He tried to say that, they are not abducted, they are in A, B, and B. Does City Mortuary look an A and B for Kimani Ichung'wah?
Hello, great people. Welcome to Siasa Times. My name is Shiko. As you can see, we are coming to you from our studios. And with me is an amazing team. Today we are going to discuss all about the current affairs, politics. I'm going to give them a chance to introduce themselves, starting from my immediate left.
Thank you, Shiko, for bringing us to this segment of Siasa Time.
Karibu sana.
My name is Oponya Kolo Eugene. Many people call me Oponya the Great.
Yeah.
The founder and CEO of the Little Movement Africa. This is a moment of the jobless masses, by the jobless masses, for the jobless masses, but with ideas to solve the unemployment menace. Kwa sababu, hii mambo ya kukosa kazi, kila mtu anasema tu hakuna kazi, but no one is offering solutions. So we are here as well to offer solutions.
Good thing it's part of our topic of discussion today.
Yeah.
Karibu sana.
Okay, thank you. I'm Kevin Oswago. Yes, my peers usually call me Professor. I don't know why, but I'm happy for the invitation. Yes.
Karibu sana.
Yes, I'm an analyst and also professional in terms of international relations. Yes.
Beautiful.
So thank you, Shiro, for your invite. Yes, Times. Yeah, sure. My name is Gakuna Jima Castro. I'm a youth leader. For the information, I haven't told you that I'm the newly appointed strategic executive advisor for Kenya Boda Boda Association. And I'm also a political scientist by profession. And I'm very glad to meet and come discuss the current affairs of the state here with these great men here. Yeah, so that we see how we can advise our people, how we can actually be able to sensitize our young men and women, our parents, and generations, and see how we can participate better in our country.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, great team, for coming through. And it's also nice we're having the youth to have this discussion. And I want us to start off with this debate that is a little burning to a lot of Kenyans. 2027 campaigns, zimeanza, hazijaanza. Castro, what's your thoughts?
William Ruto ameanza kucampaign for 2027. He's the president. In fact, he has diverted from his main mandate. He was elected. He has forgotten that he's the sole unity defender. He has forgotten that he's the person who should actually be calling for unity of our country, but he's doing very well in disuniting Kenyans and then trying to be the champion of disunity and launching propaganda around the country that people are against his policies. But Kenyans are not against his policies. Kenya are just asking him to be the leader that they wanted, to be the leader that they chose him to be. They elected him to be the president, to be the strategic leader for this country, to be a policy developer, a policy leader for this country. But in most cases, this person is just managing politics for 2027, kupanga na kupangiana, kutenga na kutengiana. That's the major and the sole purpose he's taking. You know, when he says that, you know, people should stop politicking, in fact, it is from his own mouth, and I don't think there's any other person who is politicking, because as opposition, you know, people who are feeling the government is not working for the people, or the government is not delivering for the people, they have a right to question the government. They have a right to actually oppose any conflicting policy. They have a right to defend their own policies and to defend their voice. So it doesn't mean that they are politicking. And people being against or being in opposition with the government, that's the task of an opposition. So he is diverting to be the opposition and the president. Let him remain to be the president and leave the opposition to be.
Oponyo, do you agree?
You know, a lot of people have tried to talk bad and throw shit at the government, especially the government of President William Ruto. This is a government that is going to be there in the next 10 years.
Who said?
And this is not something to debate about, because hata watu wanargue. Hawa kina Castro wanapiga kelele.
You see, you cannot say,
even
say
if
that
you
the
ask
government,
them, their own candidate, they don't even have a candidate.
Here for 10 years. You cannot say, and you cannot insinuate.
No,
you know,
no, I'm not insinuating.
No, people are trying
who is your
candidate? Like this one who has been sent by the government.
Who is your candidate?
Wait,
to even the president,
you know,
to even
kind-
get the president out of government.
The kind of a person.
Let's be honest.
This person,
But there's no one who can even. You don't even have a candidate. But you're already talking about removing Ruto from State House.
Today,
how will you remove President Ruto from State House when you don't even have a candidate?
Today,
the normal IBC election, the normal
sympathizers, like Oponyo here.
No, I'm not a sympathizer.
No,
these are facts.
Because they are trying to, you know, these people, they are being sent by the government.
No, we have not been sent by the government.
They can try to create a perception that Ruto is here to stay. You know, people decide. Kenyans decided that William Ruto will be the president against all odds, against what it was well known as deep state but people decided that this is William Ruto who shall be the president.
Now,
the same people.
It is not like Kenyans
decided.
No, the president was the best person to be voted.
Kenyans who elected him.
No, leave alone them deciding.
You
must have
just a minute,
yeah.
Oponyo.
Yeah.
There's something that he has mentioned, that we have people who have been sent by the Kenya Kwanza government to bring out the notion that this government is here to stay until the 10 years are over. First of all, do you agree we have like a team that is probably they are not because they love President Ruto, but because there's something that they're gaining out of it?
Politics is interest.
So are you interested in anything? Are you gaining any interest?
Just a moment. Politics is interest. There's no one, absolutely no one on this earth, even Trump himself or anyone who gets into politics for the for the sake of the common people. Most of the time, each and every person you see in a political expediency, they're doing it for their own interest. Each and every person. But they will make this look like it is a national interest or a common people interest. But each and every person who's in a political sphere or anything, these are the people doing it for the sake of their own interest.
There's someone out there who would be watching you and because you mentioned that and you're in support of it. Do you have any interest?
No, yes, I'll say I have my own interest because I've been in politics. I've vied before. I still will vie in the near future. But before we reach there, I need to have a rebuttal to my brother here. We cannot have a country whereby we think about election immediately after an election. Before William Ruto was he allowed the impeachment of Gachagua to go on, there was no this noise. In fact, the people from the mountain, they were telling us, this is a God-sent president. So today, is he now Satan sent? He has not, let me just finish my point. He has not died for us to know. Maybe tulikuwa tunasema anaenda mbinguni na leo sasa ameenda wapi? Ameenda hell. So there's no way wataanza kutuambia sasa hawataki Ruto. Wale ambao walipigia Ruto kura ndo wanapiga kelele kutuambia hawataki Ruto. Kwa sababu gani? Aliwaambia vitu ambazo anaweza kufanya. Ukiangalia manifesto ya UDA ilikuwa na mambo ya housing. Manifesto ya UDA ilikuwa na mambo ya farming. Manifesto ya UDA ilikuwa na mambo ya kuleta kubadilisha mambo ya security katika hii nchi.
Healthcare.
Mambo ya healthcare. Na ukiangalia watu wengi wanapiga hata vile tumesema mambo ya healthcare. However much we want to argue that the president is not working, this country belongs to all of us. If this country belongs to all of us, we can only be the people who drive change. We cannot be the pessimistic people. And I'm not talking about blind optimism, where we are just following someone for the sake of following. I'm not talking about wishful thinking. I'm talking about we know what is being done on the ground. We know the affordable houses. We know the subsidy fertilizers. We know that Kenyans in the security segment, they have tried to bring sanity in this country. Not only in Kenya, even in Haiti. Not only in Haiti, even in Somalia. So we cannot be and say President Ruto is not structured to change the narrative of this country. And we cannot say President Ruto is only here for 5 years. No. This is someone who is going to be here for 10 years. And he's not going to be here for 10 years just because he has no competitor. No, not because he has no competitor. Of course, he has no competitor. So he might, in fact, these people who are trying to say the president won't be here for the 10 years, in 2027, they won't even have a candidate to compete against Ruto. It might be President Ruto competing against President Ruto or competing against his own legacy. So there's hakuna competitor hapo anatutishatisha kila siku.
Allow me to talk to Mr. Kelvin. There's something that Oponyo the Great has mentioned, that probably kuna team ambayo kidogo it's only here to show the people that probably the president isn't working. Do you believe that statement is true? Ama ni ukweli kidogo kazi haifanywi?
Okay, it's more of a perception. We have people with different opinion because in politics, everyone has opinion.
Sure.
And it's normal that one side can agree and the other side
can disagree.
Yeah, can disagree.
Yeah.
So sometimes we agree to disagree. And at this level, as an ODM youth leader, we are kind of having a neutral stand on this because the government was actually on its knees when we decided to give them some professionals to come and aid them. So we kind of take a neutral stand because we are neither in government nor in opposition.
What does that mean?
But we are there at the end of the day. We never put this government into...
But there's no neutrality in politics.
Exactly.
Yes.
At the end of the day.
The moment you say you're neutral, it means...
It goes back to the interest.
Yes. They have their own interest. That's why they don't want to pick a side. Hawataki waonekane kwa opposition, hawataki waonekane pia kwa serikali. Lakini sisi tunasema serikali ni ya William Ruto miaka 10. Yes.
Now, Castro, before, I believe you have vied for a political seat in Mount Kenya.
Yes.
Nyeri to be specific.
Othaya constituency.
Othaya constituency.
Yeah, for the member of parliament.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, I have a question for you. Because you've seen a lot of people out there complain.
Yeah.
Why is the president not visiting the Mount Kenya region? The question is, did everything start falling, or the atmosphere that we are having politically, did it all start from the time that former Deputy President Gachagua was impeached?
Well, before I get to that question, I would like to respond to Oponyo. There's something he talked that politics is interest and people are getting to government because of their personal selfish interest. You see, their government with President William Ruto, they are serving their own selfish interest. They cannot serve the public. That's why he's still very much convinced and he's trying to create a perception. And you heard even the president saying that, you know, he has experience and he's not scared, he cannot be threatened. There's nobody who is threatening him. No one is threatening him, and neither can he threaten Kenyans. You know, we are just speaking our voice, and we are saying, like, we need you for, in fact, being with you for the next 2 other years. It's a really a waste of our resources, it's a really a waste of our time. And, like, we just need you one term, and then you leave. Why? Because whatever you promised Kenyans, you have shown that you have no capacity to serve. You have no capacity to deliver. You see, and when...
Ask him, what has he done?
Let me tell you,
what exactly has he done?
My question would be...
You can see, like, we got into a government that the government reversed every government policy that was working, come from the health sector, education, transport.
No, health, security. Health wasn't working.
Security, you see, like, this person came, he did away with Kazi Mutaani, he did away with...
but we have climate works. We have climate works Mutaani.
No, he did away with... I was talking Kazi Mutaani and did away with government subsidies and so. But all of a sudden, he is now making a U-turn back to the system that we are using. Why? Because this person was trying to create something. He was trying to create his own system. He was trying to take control of every sector. He was trying to create business in every sector. But all of a sudden, Kenyans have realized that nothing is working. Kenyans are putting resources together. They are paying taxes, but nothing is literally
working. You cannot even take you cannot take even we cannot take even an audit of every single coin that the Kenyan government is spending, overspending on unnecessary travels, you know, and making some plans, you know, and that are using Kenyans taxpayers' money that cannot be audited.
Oponyo, on
You know,
that,
billions of money. You can imagine how much the State House has costed us. Like, it was enough to build a new State House, and we still maintain.
But how is the look?
But still
How is
maintain.
the look
still
right now?
maintain
We'll
the
come to
traditional
that.
colonial look for the cultural and colonial remembrance. So it was that money
You
was
see,
enough
still
to
talking
build.
about
That
colonialists.
money was
It's
enough.
in 2025
so
Castro.
the other thing that he talked about. Yeah, we must remember where we came
No,
from.
but
And
we cannot
that is a history,
we
that is a
cannot
history
get
that
stuck
Kenyans,
there, but we cannot get
that's
stuck
a
in the
history
same
that
place.
Kenyans is a history that
No,
Kenyans
those
cannot write
people,
off.
colonizers did bad to our families.
Sacrifice.
They killed our
They were
people.
Kenyan
Just a
people.
minute.
Kenyan died because they were fighting for their own independence.
And
You
why
know,
do
that
you still have
that house
hangovers
is
for
significant.
colonizers?
That house is significant so that we can know that in our weakest moments, you know, the days that we never had independence, this house was built by the colonial.
Maybe.
Was built by the colonial time. So even as you know, we are talking about a house that was built in 1907. That's the house that this man is saying that it is looking nice and it has.
Yeah,
some
it
good
is
rooms.
looking very
You know,
nice.
You know, we must be
This-
people who are
Maybe
very
on that,
conservative
Oponyo,
and
Yes,
people
yes.
who
my
want
question-
to maintain their heritage.
Aha, Oponyo.
That is not
Are
our
Kenyans-
heritage. That is a colonialist heritage.
On
And
the
we, and, we,
same
and we are
level.
not going. You know, my brother here is deviating and trying to take us back to the colonialist hangovers.
No, I'm not taking
the country has moved. We are no longer in the same space we were. We are no longer in the same space we were 10 years ago.
Talking about not being in the same space.
Yeah.
Are Kenyans more woke
Yeah.
or there's nothing being done?
No, in fact, I've said this a million times.
Uh-huh.
The unfortunate thing in this country is majority of Kenyans act woke. They act woke. They are not woke. The reason why I say so is under very flimsy things. The other day there was an issue with Astro and Shell. Just someone, a TikToker or other YouTuber, has done is their own test. He's not even a professional. And has said there's a problem with the Shell V-Power funeral. No, not funeral, but fuel. Every Kenyans saw that like something they should not be party to. They saw that we should now go to Astro and promote that. I don't have a problem, but I have a problem whereby we have this sheep mentality. We have this sheep mentality where we act like we are woke to follow the trends. Following the trends never changes anything. That's the same way. People who are saying we don't want President Ruto, they are not saying it because they know what he hasn't done. People who are saying they don't love President Ruto, they know very well those houses, the affordable housing, they are being built. I come from Kakamega. Tunazaana kila siku. Na kuzaana yetu kila siku inafanya shamba inakuwa kidogo. So sisi tukiona kama miradi za affordable housing, hata unatoka Central watu wanauza shamba na pia wanazaana sana. So ukiniambia wanazaana sana na mtaki mambo ya affordable housing, inamaanisha hii affordable housing ndio tunakuja kuishi. Inamaanisha Mr. President is looking in the future. We will only know this is a visionary leader. And why am I saying he's a visionary leader, Shiko? This is because this guy knows very well in the next 10 years Kenyans will be more than 70 million. And if Kenyans will be more than 70 million in this country, it means we cannot continue living the way we used to live. We cannot continue to live the way we used to live in the villages. Even the villages must have affordable houses so that even the people can live in those houses without losing. I run an organization that deals with matters of smart farming. And in these, we are trying to tell young people, we can change the narrative of food insecurity. How do we do that? We can do balcony farming because there are no lands. Mashamba zinaenda zikiwa ndogo na tuwezi endelea kuishi vile tunaishi. Ndio maana President Ruto alikuja na insist we need to build houses. Egypt is doing the same. The other day, the president of Ghana, John Mahama, was just elected, was in this country to check the affordable housing. The other day, the president of Gabon was here to check the affordable housing because they know the future, the way the climate change is trying to traverse and cause this havoc. We need houses. We need houses that will not be there to be that will not deter us from using our land. Kwa mfano, kama let's say kama mimi natoka Kamega, Sasa shamba ya Kakamega imekuwa ndogo. Tumezaliwa vijana kama 10. Vijana 10, babangu alikuwa na eka 2. Tutajenga wapi? Alafu pia mimi nianze kupiga vita kuambia President Ruto sitaki mambo ya affordable housing. Sasa sitaki mambo ya affordable housing na literally inamaanisha mimi nitakaa kwa apartment nisipojikaza kununua shamba yangu.
Castro, what's your take on this whole issue about affordable housing?
You know, that is a scandal in waiting. It is just about time so that it can be
Why do you think everything by the government is a scandal?
As an organized crime. And because, you know, Kenyans are putting money so that these houses can be done. Remember, payslip, a Kenyan payslip is overburdened by the government. The government is taking taking 75% of the Kenyan.
No, the payslip has been overburdened, but some issues like health has been removed from them. So it means it is still helping them. Ile burden yenye walikuwa nasumbukana kwenda hospitali imetolewa. Ule mtu ambaye analipa na kwa serikali ama kwa kazi analipa sha vizuri, trust me, huyo mtu hahitaji shilingi yote kwenda katika hospitali. Watu wengi wanapiga hata vile nani anasema hivi ati affordable housing inaenda kwa scandal. Hatukatai hata kama no, just let me just finish this.
Hata tukisema ikiwa scandal for us to make our cases so that they cannot even understand where the problem is coming
because you tend to lie to Kenyans. We don't want you to lie to Kenyans. We don't want this misconception and myths.
We want for Kenyans to make their case.
We get to hear from Kevin.
They cannot even listen for Kenyans to make their case. We are making our own case so that you can listen and go make some changes where it is.
But you can't give a wrong perception.
But let me tell you, that's not a wrong perception.
No, it is a wrong perception because this housing thing will really help this country.
Gentlemen, we get
that housing. The housing projects has no procedures of how these houses will be sold or they'll be given out. Kenyans are pulling
No,
this
there is
together.
a procedural. No, we have Bomaitu. Check out the website for Bomaitu. No, I just don't want for him to give out views that we know very well they are not true. There is a government website called Bomaitu.
We can not invited here to come to lie to Kenyans.
Why are you lying to Kenyans? He is lying to Kenyans. He is the one saying President Ruto is a liar.
With me
Why?
That whatever I'm speaking the truth. In fact, the people who are peddling lies and who are fond of lies, watu wa kudanganya maheni, ni watu ya serikali. And they know.
Your voice in this. Castro says that this whole thing of affordable housing is a scandal.
Okay, the current government in position is more about aesthetics. We've seen
State House.
Yes, State House. It's more of aesthetic. What you can see, like those who did, it's called Dr. Stockman. You're taking me back to An Enemy of the People, where they used to call instead of how can I reframe it? They used to, the government could pride of their system as a white sepulchre, clean, something very clean, but behind it, underground, it's rotten. So this is the kind of the government we are dealing with, because we've seen everything that the government has tried to get their hands on has failed, be it in health-wise, be it in education, be it in... You mean a government coming up and inakoroga kila kitu, then inakuwa ina confusion. And that's why they had to sort for some professionals, and I have to repeat it, because it seems the government was going under. Sometimes I tend to agree with whatever Castro is saying. The government is basically, the current government is basically based on aesthetics. There's nothing, just what people can see.
Is there a chance, if at all that's what a lot of Kenyans, especially the youths, have in mind, is there a chance for Kenya Kwanza government or administration to redeem themselves within the 2 years that are remaining before the next general elections?
Of course they have a chance.
Yeah.
In politics, a day is like 1,000 years, or 1,000 years is like a day. Anything is possible in the world of politics. So they still have a chance to redeem themselves.
Now, maybe before we finish up on this specific topic, the question was, and this question goes to you.
However, let me finish. However, all these, the buck stops and starts with the president himself. He can redeem himself, or he can destroy himself completely. So he has, the chances lies in his own hands.
Okay.
Yes.
Oponyo, do you think the 2027 campaigns have started? The president the other day, I think it was yesterday, he said it's time tuache campaign, to focus na kazi.
Ukweli sana.
Siasa zimeanza?
Unajua hata mimi nahurumia sana watu wanasema siasa zimeanza. Kwa sababu sisi tukianza siasa hii mrengo wetu ya serikali watu wataumia.
Vipi?
Ukiangalia sana 2022
tutaumia aje?
Unaona kama 2022 Raila Amolo Odinga alikuwa anapiga rally 2, si tushapiga 10. Akipiga 3, si tushapiga 15. Na hata siku ijaisha. Sasa mimi nasikia huyu jamaa wa Mnyora anasema ati sasa yeye anangoja 2027 anataka kumenyana na Ruto. By the time ukiangalia Ruto, Gachagua ni mzee wa Ruto. So kwa miaka peke yake hataweza WSR. Kwa tu shape. Tuseme tu sasa tunataka leo apige hii rally. Gachagua atakuwa ameema vibaya sana, ushanielewa? Ama hata maybe nguo zitakuwa zimeisha. Lakini ukiangalia President Ruto ni mtu ambaye amejipanga, anakaa kijana, anakaa kwa shape, ni mtu ambaye ana train. So siasa ya 2027 sisi kama serikali tunasema haijaanza, lakini siku inafika ambapo siasa inaanza. Ndio maana president anawaambia, ukiangalia amekuwa Northern Kenya anasema there's no need tuanze siasa saa hii. Kwa sababu yeye anajua mkianza siasa na yeye aanze siasa hakuna kitu kitafanyika hii country. Kwa sababu yeye ako na watu already. Yeye amepigiwa kura na watu milioni 7 na tukao. Gachagua hajaipigiwa kura na watu tukaona ako na Wakenya milioni ngapi. Yeye yenye anatuambia tu unajua Mlima tutaloku milioni 5. Hiyo ni ya kuongea tu ile yenye watu wako registered, lakini yeye wake ni wangapi? Hiyo madhira alishinda na kura ngapi?
The other day you've mentioned about the president being in the northern region.
Yes.
And there's something that Kenyans, it's kind of a concern among Kenyans.
Yeah.
Kenyans think that the president has allowed his teammates, his people, to have quite, quote unquote, or rather, harsh words against Kenyans. For example, a couple of weeks ago we saw Farah Maalim. Kuna maneno aliweza kutamka kule Western region. What do you have to say about that?
Unajua ni kama watoto ambaye ni kama uzae watoto. Ukizaa watoto kuna ule mtoto atakuwa mwizi na wewe baba ama mama uko kwa mwizi. Na hata hujai kaa mahali kwa nyumba ukamwambia mtoto wangu mimi naona wewe ukwe mwizi. Lakini unapata tu mtoto wako ameenda kwa mwizi. Na utamkataa kusema sitaki mtoto. Lakini watu nje watafikiria ni mama ametuma mtoto akwe mwizi. Lakini utapata ama ni baba amemtuma, lakini utapata mtoto hajatumwa na mama. Mtoto yeye mwenyewe ilikuwa tu mafikiri yake kuona kuwa mimi nataka kuwa mwizi. So nasema kuwa nakubaliana kuna politicians
wamekuwa wakitumia pia kuna mzazi
atamkataza. Ndio maana nasema hivyo. Ndio maana nasema kuna atukatai. There is some foul language that has been used to the citizens of Kenya. And that is not something I pride myself with. Kwa sababu sisi hata ndio maana mimi sikwenda maandamano ya Gen Z. Ndio maana mimi huwezi nipata kwa hii mambo ya kusema Ruto sijui Kasongo sijui nini. Kwa sababu gani? Sisi hapa tunataka kuwa viongozi na si mbali kutoka leo. 2022 tulikuwa kwa debe. 2027 tunarudi hata kwa debe tunaenda bunge. So haiwezi kuwa sisi tuko kama wananchi wa kawaida ama tuko vijana tunapiga wale viongozi wakapo tunawatumia matusi. Inamaanisha pia sisi siku ambayo tutakuwa bunge ama siku ambayo pia sisi tutakuwa state house in case tufike hapo. Inamaanisha pia sisi tutatusiwa tunao watoto ambao watakuwa watoto zile enzi. So ndio maana naambia vijana
wenzangu. Swali ni I'm not taking side here. Lakini watawatusi if you're delivering.
No, hata sio shida. Unajua there is criticism has been there. Kuanzia siku za Kenyatta. Unaona? Kuanzia siku za Moi, kuanzia siku za Kibaki. Hata achana na hiyo. Kuanzia siku za Mbeberu. Wao watu wenye Castro anafurahia walikuwa hapa. Walikuwa hapa hiyo siku zote. Na hii hatukuwa na hii matusi ambayo tuko nayo towards our leaders. We are losing it. We need positive impacts. We need positive interactions. Kwa sababu gani? Ukiangalia sisi kama vijana, saa hii ukitaka hata kwenda mahali, uko na account umekuwa ukitusiana na watu, unanyimwa visa. Unaelewa? Kwa sababu gani? Hakuna mtu atataka utransfer tabia yako mbaya kutoka kwenu unapeleka katika nchi yao. So ndio maana tunaambia Wakenya, hata hizi vitu mnajiweka mnataka kutuma, ati mnatuma emails mbaya, siji mtaki kama King wa Netherlands akuje. Tunajaribia sisi wenyewe jina. Kwa sababu gani? Juzi Uhuru Kenyatta alisema kitu tu kusema Waafrika wajisimamie. Ona jinsi watu wa kutoka US walianza kusema twende to visit Kenya. Lakini Wakenya tunafanyaje? Tunasema hatutaki hata wakuja wa visit. Hapa sijui Kasonga amefanya nini. Lakini jiulize, ni kazi ngapi zitapatikana tukiwa na watalii wanakuja hapa? Kazi ngapi zitapatikana kama hii energy ambayo tunatumia kuweza kutuma emails kusema hatutaki huyu, hatutaki Kasongo, serikali yetu imefail. think of it if we are doing what we call positive spamming. Positive spamming is we send as many emails the way tumekuwa tukituma kusema inji yetu iko vizuri hapa. Maana gani? Tupende tusipende, jinsi nakwambia Shiko, tutakuwa na wewe hapa 2033 ambapo ama 2031 ambapo Ruto atakuwa anamaliza term yake ya pili. Sasa tutakuwa tunaangalia hapo kama tumuongeze ya 3 ama tutafute mtu mwingine depending na vile watu watakuwa, kwa sababu ukiangalia hata by 2032 watu hata hawajajipanga bado. Unaona? Ukiangalia vijana wakapa so ni ngumu. So my point ni tusikue watu wa matusi, kwa sababu sisi siku yetu inafika ya kuwa viongozi na tutahitaji matusi. Mimi nimetusiwa vibaya sana kwa sababu na support serikali.
Sure.
Lakini sijabadilika na siendi kubadilika. Kwa sababu gani? Hakuna chochote kizuri kitatoka kwa opposition. Sisi tumesupport Raila Amolo Odinga, tumepiga Uhuru miaka 10 vita. Mimi nilikuwa teenager tangu nipige Uhuru vita. Nimemaliza, yani nimeharibu maisha yangu kwa sababu napiga mtu vita na najua vizuri serikali haiwezi toka. Tulisema Uhuru atatoka 2027. Hata tukachoma portraits zote, tukafanya maandamano Kenya mzima, cancel Safaricom. Mimi hata baba alisema nikabadilisha hata namba ya Safaricom, nikanunua Airtel, lakini serikali haikutoka. Boycott all these oil companies. Unaona, hakuna kitu ilitoka. So uwezi niambia watu wa Mnyoro wenye wako na watu kidogo, hata tujui ni wanaweza fika milioni ngapi, wanaanza kutishia President Ruto hii, wanamtishia hii. Castro. So hata wamtishie for how long, sisi tunajua miaka ni 10 na wakikaa vibaya ni 15.
Castro.
Yes.
Hapo kwa looks like it's citizens versus politicians.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wakati tulikuwa Sunday school, you know, I'm a Catholic.
Yeah.
Tulikuwa tunaimba, naona mbele kuna njia mbili. Moja ni ya kutenga na moja ni ya kutenda. Sijui kama that chorus you can remember it.
I've never heard of it.
Mwambia imbe hiyo.
Naona mbele kuna njia mbili, moja ya kutenga na moja ya kutenda. So, what ya kutenda, you know who they are. And people, the citizens and Kenyans, wako kwa njia ya kutenda. Wanataka matendo. They want things that can be actualized. They just hawataki rhetorics. You know, these things of rhetorics after rhetorics. Like, and I'm feeling very sorry to have a young person like me, of my age, of my generation, being a government bystander and being a sympathizer of President William Ruto. This government
is it beneficial to be in opposition though?
This government
is it?
You know, he tried to create a perception that the government cannot be taken. We have seen governments that have been even taken down
not in Kenya. Not in Kenya.
Let me make my case. Let me take my case.
Not with Wamnyoro.
Before even they get the term end. Governments have been taken down. This perception of creating that you cannot win a government, you cannot do what, those are just perception. Kenyans vote and Kenyans decide. And the fact that people shall respect the voice of Kenyans, that's when we shall draw a line. Because we must have a culture, we must start having a tradition. Me and him, we should start now setting a precedence that the voice of Kenyan must be respected. And if you do not take the responsibility that Kenyans have bestowed you, that you, instead of focusing on the agenda that you told the Kenyans, instead of focusing the plan and faking the plan that yourself, your fake plan you gave us, and unless you unfake that plan and take responsibility, take charge of your mistake, take charge of your lies, then Kenyans have no time with you. You are wasting our resources, you're wasting Kenyans' time. And we must start calling it as it is, black and white. We must start calling it as it is. He talked about if the government has a chance of redeeming itself. President William Ruto has reached a breaking point. He has no return. This is a person who has reached a breaking point that Kenyans want him out of office. Kenyans want a person who can really do. Like, you cannot be talking, you cannot be the person who is questioning others, not to politics. And he said, like, kama wanataka president akuje siasa, let him come. Let him come.
Lakini sasa hamna candidate. Hamna hata candidate.
Let every person be in a political mood. But let me tell you, we shall judge him by his track record. He is a person who is in office. He is the president in office. Let him focus with what the office, his mandate of the office as the president of the Republic of Kenya. Let him
analyze, let him align our foreign policy, let him align our domestic policy so that it works for every person. Let him align our security policy, because our security policy is also being compromised. So he must take charge. And when we call it black and white, let us not be told that we are fighting President William Ruto or we are to Mutaki second term. How can we have a person who is doing nothing and we want us to extend? We cannot be blind, we cannot be dumb.
Did you vote in 2022?
I voted for myself, and I voted, of course, I voted for
Ruto.
You see,
that is a very...
You voted for President Ruto?
Yes.
No, I didn't vote for President.
No, he voted for Ruto. This is a very strong supporter of President Ruto.
In fact, let me tell you.
He just changed tune the other day.
Yes, I was a supporter of President William Ruto.
Yeah.
But the party that I vied with was in Azimio.
Okay.
And me being a supporter of President Ruto by then, this is a person who had given hope to this country. And he's a person we realized with in this generation. Like in my generation, we saw he's a person who is coming to break the generational mandates.
Yeah.
He's a person who is coming to change. But all of a sudden, this person has been overtaken by the evil. He has been overtaken by the devil. So he's doing the evil's work. He's doing the devil's duties.
No.
So, and instead of focusing, he's a man who came in a godly way. He came in a godly way. He came as a Samaritan for us Kenyans. But all of a sudden, what happened? He's the angel of the devil. He has made this country not work. He has made this country, confused structures, confused system, confused government agencies. Nothing looks to work for us. And that's why Kenyans are agonizing. That's why Kenyans are inclined. That's why Kenyans want him to do the gentleman thing and just resign.
Now, maybe because of time, we move a little bit faster to another topic. Now, we start with Kevin. Now, Kenyans for the longest time, since last year, from the month of May, June, have blamed the government on the ongoing abductions. However, government officials, 1, 2, 3, have come out to say, no, we are not responsible for this. What do you have to say? Because right now, we still have families that haven't found their loved ones.
Okay, there is if you've done political science, there is what is called social contract. Thomas Paine wrote much about it. Social contract is that you sign a contract with the government that in return, you put the government in place. In return, the government caters for your security. The government caters for your health. The government caters for almost everything that needs to be catered for. And here, it seems the citizens signed the contract with the current government, and the government has failed to own the contract. They failed to keep their end of the bargain, because that's why we've seen insecurities, youths being abducted. Remember, we have freedom of speech in our constitution, and everyone has the right to critique the government. But here we come in a situation that if you critique a government, you are abducted, and no one knows who specifically does this abduction. Yet the government, citizens signed contract with the government to ensure their security. So who's reliable for this? Who is to be blamed? It's automatically the government, because they failed, and that's why the citizens' security is in jeopardy.
So, Oponyo, because you sided with the government in almost everything.
Not in almost everything. Yeah, there are things we don't agree.
Yeah. What's your voice in this whole story of abductions?
A minute ago nimeongelea mambo ya vijana kutusitusi watu. So serikali, mimi nikiona serikali inasema haijui nani maybe anafanya abductions, najaribu kuelewa kwa sababu gani. Kama juzi kumekuwa na mlolongo 4. Vijana walikuwa abducted na vijana hawakurudi nyumbani, waliuliwa.
And 2 bodies have been found, two. So may the souls rest in peace. Na ukiangalia online unaanza kupata vijana wanaanza kutoa story, sijui alikuwa amekon mtu pesa, sijui alikuwa amefanya nini, sijui ni abductions, si abductions. So kujua ukweli na kwangu, manake vijana pia wanaji-involve na mambo mingi. Kwa hii nyakati tuko. Ukiangalia ni generation ambayo hakuna mtu ambaye anataka kufa maskini. Kwa sababu daily lazima upige picha, lazima uonyeshane unaishi vizuri. Lakini kwa mapenzi ya Mungu, utajiri ni kona kanuni na agano zake. So ukiangalia sana ujui, siwezi sema kuja kwa na abductions.
kwa sababu watu wamepotea, watu hawajakuwa wakionekana, so lazima maybe walikuwa wamechukuliwa na mtu fulani, lakini siwezi kuwa specific niseme ni serikali ama si serikali.
However, like he said, probably this was like a contract. If anything, if a Kenyan out here or a couple of Kenyans face a certain problem, will it not be the role of the government to help them solve it? Because until now, we haven't seen the maybe the DCI probably arrest one who was accused of abducting someone. Do you think the government has failed there in that specific area?
No, failed is a strong word. Is a very strong adjective to be used in this scenario, because when people fail, most of the time they can't come out of it. The same way people are saying the government is failing. The government is not failing, kwa sababu kama government ingekuwa ina fail, hatungekuwa hata tuko hapa sahi. Leo si wanafunzi wameenda shule. Si Jumapili juzi watu walikuwa kanisa. Na si leo pia tena watu wameenda kazi, si ndio? So meaning the government is functioning on normally. Ni hii tu kelele kidogo nasikia au kwa mlima kidogo watu wanapiga kelele. Hiyo ni kawaida. Unaelewa? So lakini tukisema hii mambo ya abduction inaendelea, tuisimamishe. Wale ambao wana abduct between serikali. Hapo penye umesema hapo naweza sema serikali imeteleza kidogo. Lakini IG police alitoa hotuba na akasema kama ulikuwa abducted, wale ambao walikuwa wale wa kwanza wale akina Kibet Bull, wale walikuwa kwa disco matanga. Sasa unaona jamaa alishikwa kidogo, alafu ndo maana hizo abduction has make sense. The first instinct ukishikwa na askari, mtu wa kwanza kupigeni wazazi wako. Ama ukiachiliwa na askari, ama your loved ones, be it your wife or your husband or whichever. Lakini just a minute before you ask me. Lakini huyu Kibet Bull after amachiliwa na serikali, like the first instincts mtu ameishi ndani ya umesema umekuwa abducted ni kwenda kutafuta disco matanga. You never even call your parent. You call them after 14 hours later.
I think this person is living in isolation.
No, just let me just finish my question. But let me just finish. Let me just finish my trail of thought before he asks. So unapata umejipeleka katika disco matanga. Ujiongea na mzazi wako, ujiongea na mama yako. Mama yako pia anaona tu kwa TV ati umeachiliwa.
So you believe he wasn't abducted?
No, he knows where he was.
So he wasn't abducted.
No, that's what I'm saying. I can't say he wasn't abducted. Because you can even abduct yourself. You remember during maandamano when people used to abduct themselves. So I cannot say.
For example, who?
No, I can't. Nikitaja majina nitakuwa naingiza watu town bure. So siwezi anza kutaja watu. Lakini wewe unajua vizuri kuna watu walikuwa wanajifanya wameshikwa na polisi alafu wanajitokeza. For instance, hata nisimtaje jina. Huyu president wa UN alikuwa anasema ameni, lakini the moment watu waligundua akampata kwa demu yake. So vitu zingine ndo maana serikali mimi narudi nyuma kusema
and I think where the government is even failing, because the government is using people who do not believe about whatever
the government is not using anyone.
You know who are not even sure where people go wrong is people who are not even sure about whatever they are coming to defend about the government. We are making about a very important and sensitive case here.
Let me just
we are making about a very important and sensitive case here.
We cannot say
this is very sensitive.
We cannot say each and every person supposed to government has been put there.
Just a minute.
Women and families who has been traumatized because their children have been killed. Their children have been abducted.
Have they reported?
We had children. We have families that we are seeing, and it is painful.
How do you expect the security agents to work on a case without an OB? How?
It is very painful. We have families that are being traumatized. Families who are burying their loved ones, their kids. Women burying their husbands burying their wives. Mothers burying their kids, and then we have a person who is coming to make a case. You had that is the recklessness that even Kimani Ichung'wa, the majority leader, peddled. He tried to say that they are not abducted, they are in Airbnb. Does City Mortuary look an Airbnb for Kimani Ichung'wa? Does it look?
But these guys did not come from the city mortuary. No. They were in disco matanga. What do you mean city mortuary?
Kids have been...
But we have bodies that have been found. For example, the Mlolongo.
Exactly.
We have two bodies that were
young people have been found. Young people have been found.
Is the information why they were killed? Who was saying?
The other day, I saw the family say they are having some delays.
Exactly, because they really can't say they were killed by the... Okay.
They have only
let me ask you, Shiko. Kibet has been drawing these Kasongo's cartoonists.
Yeah.
He wasn't killed. Sasa wengine hata wamelolongo hata mimi sikuwa nawajua, sijui hata wamefanya nini, sijui hata wamepiga serikali vita wapi, sasa ati wameuliwa.
By any chance, let me ask you this.
Yes.
I've heard someone say, you see, if someone was abducted, and that's probably what helped Kibet and the team.
Yeah.
If someone was abducted, it also worked for Morara Kibaso. When he was arrested and people thought he was going to be abducted, we are not going to know about his whereabouts. But everyone was screaming online that probably helped. I don't know whether you...
That is
no, it helps.
Let me tell you.
It helps totally.
Yeah.
It helps totally. But what I'm saying is...
Just a minute,
if you look
Castro.
at whatever government is using, if there is no public outcry, the government would just act dumb,
but
the government would just act blind. Let me say this one.
But we can't cry on everything.
It is because Kenyans, the outcry of Kenyans demanding the whereabouts of these people, that's when these people, they were produced from wherever they had been taken in hibernation form. Look at this one. When Kenyans outcried about the finance bill, it is when the government listened. It is when they came to decide, after we have lost life, after these people, we had told them that this finance bill should just be done away with. After the people have died, people have come in the streets, life have been sacrificed, it is when the president had. When people outcried about the arrogance of the government, it is when the president had and changed the government. It is when the people and patients have outcried, women have been arrested, taken to a police station, when they went to ask for demanding about
but Shah is working. But Shah is working.
They went to ask.
Yes, I have used Shah. You need to register before we leave here. You must register to Shah.
Let me finish this one.
Yeah.
When a woman went to the CS office to outcry about Shah, it is when they came to respond. People are outcrying. That's when the government is acting. That's
so
why
you mean it's working? It's working after that?
The only language that this government can hear, it is when Kenyans outcry. It is because of the Kenyans outcry, calling and demanding for IEBC to be formed. It is when these people acted and now selected.
No, but it will have just been formed.
Just a minute. There is something that we have talked about, people crying.
Yeah.
People are screaming, doing everything only so that the government can listen.
Yeah.
A lot of Kenyans had... actually, this acted... We saw a lot of Kenyans pointing fingers at the government when Kibet and the whole team was released in intervals of within 24 hours, all during the same day. Do you think that was a little suspective?
And that's why Mheshimiwa Kimani Ichung'wah, the member of parliament for Kikuyu, was saying hao watu walikuwa kwa Airbnb mahali, maybe Wamnyora alikuwa amewalipia Airbnb mahali.
That is recklessness.
Wanaweza kuwa wote,
So
mmoja anaweza lipiwa Western, mmoja alipiwa si ati Airbnb ziko tu mahali moja ati sasa hii. It's not a Marriott or something.
So probably the opposition, including the former
politics is emotions. Let me say this. Politics is emotions.
So
if you can trigger people's emotions, you control people politically. And that's the same thing. The people in opposition, the likes of Castro, they like the politics of populism. Politics whereby the majority feel the government is not working. If we are going to, I know we are going to change this narrative before 2027. I know President Ruto will be elected more than 70% because I know the work you are doing on the ground. So we will have changed the perception. Trust me, I told you earlier on the Kenyans. Just a minute.
Kenyans what you're doing on the ground.
The majority.
Don't come here and say that because of the work you're doing. Just tell Kenyans what work is being done. Tell Kenyans.
I've talked about even affordable housing. I've talked about subsidy. Even today, the president removed the vetting of the Northern Kenyan people. These are our brothers from the Northern Kenya. So we cannot sit here and say the president is not working. Just move away even from that. Fertilizer has never been 2,500 shillings. Ever. So if we look at it from this perspective, look at even at the fuel prices. They are dropping each month. Look at even the unga. When we talk about the unga politics, they start to say unga politics is not something we need in this country. Majority of the people in this country eat food eat food, eat ugali on daily basis. So we cannot say the government has not reduced unga from 250 to 100 shillings, and now you look at it like the government is not doing anything. Look at it. The other day President Uhuru Kenyatta, unga ilikuwa imefika shilingi 250. Watu wa Mlima Kenya, watu wa wapi hawako waipiga kelele kusema Uhuru atoke, tumtoe Uhuru. Hawako waisema hata twende tufanye maandamano. Lakini kwa sababu huyu ni mtoto wa maskini, kwa sababu huyu ni mtoto kutoka ambaye jina ambaye lijulikani, kwa sababu huyu ni mtu ambayo amtaki kumuona katika kiti, tunasema huyu jamaa afanye kazi. President Ruto has been doing work.
That rhetoric of saying that at Ruto maskini sijui nini.
Ruto ni mtoto wa maskini.
Yeye na huyo maskini yake ndiye anatufundisha. Anataka tukue maskini kama yeye.
I think the same
hiyo ndo mnaribu.
What is sold to the people of Kenya and then they elected.
And now they are mad at everyone.
In fact, when we tell them, this is not the time that we say that Mulife don't run. When we tell them Mulife run, they should run because we have experience. We know, we know the kind of a person they are dealing with.
Allow me to ask this question.
They should run.
Yeah.
There's something Oponyo mentioned, and I want to get clarity from you. Okay. You believe that former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has something to do with abductions?
I'll have gone far to pin on that on Rigiji, because Rigiji is a.
But you mentioned him.
Yeah, like I said, the member of parliament for Kikuyu said maybe hata alikuwa ametulia tu mahali kwa Mnyoro hapo ametulia kidogo. Lakini siwezi sema ni mambo ya Rigiji. But pia Rigiji vile ana move siku hizi, vile nimekuambia siasa ni emotions. If you can do something yenye inaweza trigger emotions za watu, utapata watu wamefikiria wewe ni mjanja sana. Sasa acha nikuulize Shiko. Juzi tu hapa Rigiji hata kukua sworn in peke yake kushika Biblia, alikuwa anashika upside down. Kushika tu Biblia. Kumsomea tu haya, rudia hii mambo yenye Chief Justice anasema, not Register of Chief Justice, Register of Judiciary, Amadi. Hata angeweza kurudia. Lakini sasa Rigiji ndo mjanja sana atanaweza toa Ruto. Unajua we really take jokes in this country that should not be taken for granted. People like Rigathi Gachagua should not near anything called power.
Kevin,
people who have been in power for a very long time and we can't see what they have changed in their own region. We anatoka Odhaya. Muulize ni project gani Rigiji amefanya huko Odhaya. So hao ndo watu wanakuja kutuambia Ruto afanye kazi.
Why should we only blame Rigiji per se, and we have Sudi on the other side? Can hardly pronounce even a single
I'm not blaming Rigiji. I'm saying Rigiji is now coming out like this is the God sent. He is now the savior. He is now the Jesus Christ. Where has he been? Rigathi Gachagua has been in this government since the times of Kenyatta. Rigathi Gachagua was a stooge of Moi. Rigathi Gachagua was a stooge of Kibaki. Rigathi Gachagua was a stooge of Uhuru. He was there as the deputy president of William Ruto. I appeal to my brother here. Let him just point one project in Odhaya that Rigiji, when he was the deputy president, have sent more than 100 letters to Rigathi Gachagua when he was the deputy president. He never responded because majority of the people in his offices looked at us from the point of we uko na jina inaanza na I'm not even a Luo, but the moment I have this name, people look at it from a point of you are a Luo. Those are the politics we don't want in this country. That's why hii country tunasema sisi wote ni wa Kenya, na sisi uko North, uko Mount Kenya, uko kwa Lake, uko wapi, sisi wote ni wa Kenya na tumeungana katika hii nchi ya President William Ruto.
Kevin,
nchi yetu please. Nchi ya Kenya ni ya Wakenya.
Yes.
We have only given him responsibility of being the president. And there were other presidents who did better. In fact, until this moment, he's the worst one. He's the worst president. He's the worst president.
When Kibaki was voted in,
another president will come.
Unga was 20 shillings. Gorogoro Bunga was 20 shillings. When Kibaki was living in 2013, Unga was 120 shillings. What are you saying as like
it is ignorant to say president. It is not his.
No.
Kevin, you had something to say.
Okay, it beats logic, and per se, let's stop being the devil's advocate here. When we look at the economy, there's no cash in mfuko ya mwananchi. We might say unga thing, blah, 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 but there is no cash in mfuko ya mwananchi. All these things ends up na mwananchi because mwananchi is the one who pays tax. Wanjiku pays tax, Atieno, Wafula, they all pay taxes. And they need to see their taxes being channeled in the right way. Now, we've seen circumstances where our leaders, our so-called holy leaders, I've seen Castro preaching the way when he was campaigning. Yes, he preached actually. These guys have turned up to be worse than what we expected. Kenyans had much anticipation, expectation on William Ruto. I have to say this as an opposition. I never, as an opposition by then with Raila Odinga, under Raila Odinga, I never voted for Ruto. And that's why I'm not quick to cry about it, because I have to give them ground to argue, because they are the ones who actually saw this government coming forth. So I have to be non-partisan and give them time to argue. But weighing things on the ground, logically, things are worse. We've seen even the diplomatic magnet that Kenya as a country used to have. It's no longer there.
Now, allow me to let us tackle this next topic. Now, in 2 years, State House has been under renovations. 500 million Kenyan shillings down. First of all, Castro, was the whole, venye tu tumeiona, was it worth it? 500 million Kenya shillings.
Number one, we would start by asking, was it necessary? Was it necessary to actually do the renovations and try to make it?
Yes, of course, yes.
To make it look like it's a modern house, and you know, this is a 1907 house that was built. It was not necessary, but it was necessary to have a new state house. I think if the strategic advisors, as he terms him, strategic, they would have advised him to actually plan on how he can build a new state house. Although he would not be the man who would be occupying that new state house, he'd be having another man who would do that. But it's good always to prepare. Even the path of Jesus Christ was prepared by John the Baptist. So he would be John the Baptist of a man who will now come to rescue Kenyans over the
who is that man?
Deepening economy. The renovations of the state house has used more than the 500 million Kenyan shillings that you're tagging. In fact, it has costed us more than 2 billion for only that. And this state house is being, or it has been changed to be like it's a private property. It's like someone's house. You know, people are cultivating there. Huko watu wanalima masukuma na boga. Hapo ndio watu wanalisha. Wanalima na mboga, telele, misheveve zimejaa huko wanalima. Huko ni mafudi tu na wakulima wanaingia. Tafadhali, people are in construction, but doing all the work that he has done, you know, there was a sense of, and this is a Kenyan feeling, like in every, when we that house or the state house, if we had a chance to build another state house and then just leave the state house as it was, as a heritage, you know, as our structure there, that we can remember our past times, where we came from, where this country came from, evolved from, you know, it would make some more impactful and historic cases in generations to come. Because as we have seen the state house, you can imagine there's generation who they only see that state house, the same building, in photos, in pictures, how it looked like. But President Ruto came and decided this is not how it should look, and this is how it should look. You see, he would maintain that. But if we went and built a new state house, it was worth. And that money was enough to do so.
A new one?
A new one.
Oponyo, 500 million, 2 years, and the outlook that you have seen.
Let me ask you, do you think that was much, or that was some little cash?
That's the question that I'm asking you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Was it worth it?
More than. Because if you look at it, we are in modern days, and we cannot portray the ultimate poise that we should depend on the things that happened in the when we were not even there. State House depicts what this country looks like. Look how beautiful Nairobi is. Look how the city is. Look how vibrant the city is. Look how a big name we have outside there. But if you drive to State House with your people from other countries, before it was renovated, it was some old cliche stuff. But right now, this is now what we call state house of the modern day. These are the things that happen in all modern...
So it's all about changing from times, the old times to the new times.
And let me tell you this, Shiko. President Ruto has renovated. Trust me, if Oponyo will be voted maybe in 2052 or 2042, I still also have to renovate, because in 20 years, how the state house looks like right now, it won't be the same way we would like it to look at that time. These are the things that happen. So it's not even state house alone. Even in your own house, ukikaa kwa nyumba, ndo maana hata watu huama. Ukikaa kwa nyumba sana uone imeanza kuchakaa, mtu na amanga unaenda kwa nyumba nyingine. Ama unafanya furnishing. Lakini sasa sisi Wakenya wamezoea kulalamika kila kitu. Unaona hata saa hii angesema haya sawa, acha tuache hii. Wangaanza kusema na hii sasa, unajua hii status inakaa vibaya sana. Mbona hata uonangi na unaishi huko kila siku? So sasa ashabadilisha tena, wanaanza kusema na sasa imetumia pesa mingi sana. Saa hii ukiangalia hata mikutano ambazo rais anafanya, kuna like the entire status imebadilisha. Hata Uhuru akienda huko atapotea. Kwa sababu ametoka tu juzi. So ndio nilikuwa nasema like ukiangalia vijana, not vijana wa Kenya, tumegeuka tu watu kulalamika. Hakuna kazi, tunalalamika. Kuna kazi mtaani, tunalalamika. NHIF haifanyi, NHIF wangu wanatucharge pesa mingi, tunalalamika. Tumeleta SHA, niko na watu hata wanalipata 50 bob. Niko na watu wanalipata 70 bob. Niko na watu mimi najua nilipata shilingi 100. Juzi hii nilikuwa Nakuru. Na nikiwa Nakuru nikauliza watu wa bodaboda, hii SHA inafanya kazi? Niko na testimony, watu naweza pigia simu wakuambie, by the way bibi yangu ameenda hospitali kufanya clinic, alikuwa na mimba akazaa. Bibi yangu sijui alifanyiwa nini, rafiki yangu alianguka na gari akapata accident akalipiwa na SHA. So wale watu ambao wako ground, Shiko atakwambia SHA inafanya. Lakini wale watu, na unajua watu wanapiga SHA vita ni politicians. Unajua kwa sababu gani? Politicians have realized the president wants all of us kubebana burden. Kwa sababu gani? Wewe ni mbunge unalipa 1,000,000. Mimi hapa nakupigianga tu makofi kama Eugene. Sina kazi mahali popote, sina pay slip. Lakini ukweli wa kwamba kuna siku pia nitakuwa mgonjwa. Kama tu wewe kama ule mbunge. So haiwezi kuwa mimi nilikupatia kazi kama mbunge, lakini kulipa SHA 34,000 ama 30,000 unaanza kulalamika, na nikikuita harambee yangu unani snob, unaacha kunitext, kunireply hapo WhatsApp. So ndo maana SHA imekuja imesolve mambo yote na kuleta hii utofauti yote. So ndo maana hata mambo ya state house wanalalamika with the time. Unaona vile Ruto atatoka. Sasa let's say tuweke, so wanasema wanataka kuweka Matiang'i. Weke wewe Matiang'i wao 2032. Of course hata hizi, lakini tuseme tu amweke. Wakishamweka utaona wataanza kusema na huyo Ruto kumbe alikuwa anafanya kazi sana. So before Ruto atoke au watu wataona kazi anafanya. Lakini akitoka wataanza kusema state house iko sawa.
Kevin, was it worth it? 500 million 2 years.
I regard it as a misplaced priority.
I had a question on the same.
It's a misplaced priority because as a country we are grappling with so many challenges. We are grappling with so many challenges, from hunger, from diseases, from go to Turkana, even pupils, they hardly have a place to learn. Why could this money be channeled into something useful?
That is not how the government works.
No, the question was,
that's the whole issue here it is like saying you will get the money from the Ministry of Interior and
we get
put
to,
to the Ministry of Water. Governments don't work like that. Let's be logical.
Priority. Why should we spend on aesthetics while we have some integral matters, some serious issues that needs to be solved?
What are the serious issues?
For example, the other day, Eric was in Turkana.
Yes.
He built a small structure for students to
How
learn.
is that a problem of President Ruto?
They pay taxes.
They have a county government, right? They have a county government, right?
Okay,
some issues are devolved. Some issues, you know, watu wanapigia hata President Ruto vitu zingine zenye za county.
Other functions are devolved. No, how is education devolved? Because I would like you to explain to Kenyans how it is not a problem of the national government and now it's a problem of the county government.
I have said there are a lot of other issues that are devolved.
Can we talk about this specific one?
Which one?
This specific one.
The Turkana one.
Yes.
Which is it the county that? Yes, it is the same thing.
Let's stop building. Going around the bush, let's face the reality, actually. The country is grappling with so many challenges. We've seen now the US aid has withdrawn.
Yes.
We are trying to look for funds, solicit funds to bring in ARVs and all these medications? How is the government going to handle
What
them
has been the
while
government
while the resources that are at hand are being used basically on aesthetics?
But the government has not even said they won't be able to fund ARVs. No. But you're already complaining.
They've been questioning
yani kichwa yako
However,
si kichwa yako inakuuma lakini unakunywa Panadol.
However,
unanielewa?
We must agree. There was a time we even have deficiency in the BCG vaccines.
Yes.
We have serious issues at stake that the government needs to...
This is what I'm trying to say.
There
is already an allocation.
There was even shortage of condoms and the government could not even provide such service.
So who provided? So right now who is providing? Is it the opposition?
We can even say the issue of condom is not a priority per se.
No, it is a priority. It is a priority in the health.
It is a priority.
In the health sector is a priority for health. Yeah, it is a serious priority.
It's very serious.
Yeah.
I know I'm talking to men. Yeah, okay. So now, Oponyo.
Yeah.
He has mentioned, and that's the question I had for you and even the whole team.
Yeah.
The issue of priority.
Yeah.
Don't you feel like the Ruto administration is a little bit misplaced in terms of priorities?
You know, unaona hii uongozi ya Mheshimiwa William Ruto. Hii uongozi ni kama ile uongozi ya sisi wote hapa I think tumekuwa kwa relationship 1 or 2. Unapata kuna ule mtu hukutaka atoke kwa maisha yako. Lakini in one way or another huyo mtu alitoka kwa maisha yako. Bitter sawa. Na ukamwambia uko penye unaenda utaona mambo. Hata maisha yako itakuwa mbaya sana. It is the same analogy na hii mambo ya Ruto. Unapata watu wengi sana expect Ruto anguke, Ruto ashindwe kufanya kazi, serikali yani hata ifike kesho Ruto mwenyewe status imechomwa, ametolewa. Hiyo ni ndoto ya mchana. Na the early tutaamka kwa hii ndoto ya mchana, the better. Na la pili, umeuliza mambo ya priorities.
Yeah.
President Ruto ndo maana anapigwa tu vita. Kwa sababu watu wengi wanafikiria tumtoe tu. Angalia mambo ya affordable housing. Mtu atakwambia hatuhitaji affordable housing sahi. Lakini kwao watoto 8 na bado wako na kesi ya shamba. Ama babake analalamika, not babake. Yes, babake anasema watoto ni wengi sana mjishughulishe. Sasa sisi kama watu ambao let's say tunaishi Nairobi. Utaanzaje complain mambo ya affordable housing? Affordable housing ya kwanza, ukilipa vile tunalipa rent normally. Ukilipa hiyo nyumba inabaki kuwa yako. That is the analogy. Hii ni analogy ambayo sisi wote tukipromote itafika mahali Nairobi hakuna mtu ambaye analipa rent. Lakini because we have that colonialist ship mentality. Ile ya ukiambiwa hii nyumba ukilipa hata serikali itakupatia. Na nyumba zinajengwa. Enda hapa Mkurukonjenga, juzi kuna huyu mama alikuwa na trend, Pastor Nganga alikuwa amemtupa nje. Si amenunua nyumba hapo Mkurukonjenga ya affordable housing. Si juzi tu wa Kenya ndo wamemchangia. Sasa kama nyumba zijajengwa vile mnasema Ruto, nyumba zijajengwa, huyo mama angetoa wapi nyumba? Sasa amepata mahali pa kukaa. Hiyo ni kitu ambayo inafanyika kwa ground sasa hii Shiko. Na huyo tu ni mtu mmoja. Pia wewe ningependa uangalie mahali penye unaweza chukua nyumba. Kwa sababu unalipa rent. Na ukilipa rent kwa affordable housing, unalipanga rent na hiyo nyumba itabaki kuwa yako. Sasa hii watu wanalipa rent kwa nyumba ambazo hata wapende wasipende, waanguke juu warudi chini, nyumba hizi kuwa yao. So lazima tuiangalie hivyo. So it's not misplaced priorities. It is the same priorities. 2, each ministry has their own budget allocations. Right now, even the CS for finance was in Jivanji to advocate for budget allocation, budget making. There is a budget making process already going on. So this budget making process, this is a process whereby wanapatia allocation kwa kila ministries depending on those priorities. So unaweza pata kwa hiyo ministry, hakuna ministry yoyote itasema at ARVs haziko lakini wana prioritize kitu ingine. Uwezi sema tuko na shida ya insecurity in this country na wana prioritize kitu ingine. Ukiangalia vitu sana Wakenya wanasema there is misplaced priority. Either mtu haja benefit ama yeye hako tuna machungu kwa kuona President Ruto hakuna kitu ambacho anafanya. Lakini after miaka 10 ama 10 sisi tutakaa chini Shiko tuangalie tuseme there wasn't misplaced priorities kwa sababu mtaona nyumba, mtaona hata unga mtakuwa na maybe shilingi 50 by the time Ruto anatoka hapa 2032 ama hata 30. Ushani kwa sababu tutaenda kuwa na vyakula mingi. Mimi naongea hivyo sababu mimi ni mkulima na hata before nikuja hapa nimetoka UN na hiyo hata shamba yenye tunafanya mambo ya upanzi hapo UN. President Ruto ni project ambayo anakuja kufungua hapo UN. Na hii ni sisi vijana tutakuwa tunaendesha kuweza kufunza watoto wadogo waweze kuelewa mambo ya ukulima wa kisasa. Kwa sababu mbona tunaleta mambo ya ukulima wa kisasa? Ni kwa sababu gani? Saa hii shamba zinaenda zikiwa kidogo kidogo. Ndio maana pia tuna advocate mambo ya affordable housing na mambo ya smart farming. Tukishamaliza mambo ya smart farming, ndipo later on mtaanza kuona huyu jamaa kumbe kweli alikuwa anafanya kazi.
Maybe we move to our last topic of discussion. The AU elections are coming up in a few days. Castro, Kenya has a candidate, former, Raila Odinga.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know, wengine wanasema hatapata, wengine wanasema hatapata.
So on my case, I want to wish Raila Odinga the very best. And I wish him success for the AU. You know, a win for Raila is a win for Kenya. And even Raila getting to that seat is also an added advantage to his political career, because unajua inasema unaweza kataliwa nyumbani lakini uende ubarikiwe nchi geni. You know, even Joseph had to leave the country or his country to go na wakapata baraka nchi geni. And all in all, Raila is our father, is a leader here. And the solidarity and patriotic of Kenyans is to start by our own. For such, you know, AU, the Commission on AU, or AU as a African Union organization, you know, it amplifies the voice of Kenyans into the world. And you know, when you have a person who came from your country, that is the man or the chief executive of the organization, so it speaks much about your country, and it gives your country a more and big picture. But the biggest challenge now we are having is we also meeting a very competitive candidate from Djibouti. It's not someone that we can just light off. You know, it's someone that he also has a support, and he has gained also support from other countries. And also remember that also the government also is struggling with its foreign policy. You know, you can our diplomatic ties and diplomatic tuffles that the government is struggling. It is a factor that can also affect his results during the election. So it's not just about Raila going to the race. So we have so much factors to consider. Remember also our domestic policies and the citizens of Kenya. You know, them crying out is something that can impact greatly his results during the AU elections, because when you have the government, it is government that proposes a candidate, but when this government proposes the opposition leader, and then Kenyans are always criticizing the same government. You know, Kenyans are always outcrying about the government. Kenyans are calling out the government. So it's something that can impact them, because let's say this is not just a matter of domestic. You know, we have nations, we have international organizations, we have non-state actors, and we have international community that watches the affairs of our country and how we are maneuvering. You know, our security systems, how they are operating, and how we are offering the situation, because issues of abductions, when young people are being abducted, killed, you know, extrajudicial killings, it's not something that is going unrecognized. Internationally, it is recognized about the GBVs, you know, women being slaughtered. It's something that is being recognized by international actors and non-state actors. So the results of AU, it will not be just about Raila. It will be about every person participating, the government, citizens, and every actor that is involved in our own country. So it is all our collective effort. So Raila has done his part. He has campaigned all the best he can. And on my side, I wish him all well, and for him to win. And yeah, we hope for the best as we prepare for the worst.
Yeah. Prepare for?
The worst. And the worst is just losing, and then he comes back. There's no other worse situation.
So you think
so we prepare for the we're just hoping for the best, and we hope for the best and prepare for the worst.
Now, there's something that Castro said, that probably whatever is happening in the country might affect the results in the AU elections. Do you agree with that, Kevin?
I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
Yes, there are so many factors underlie, and that's why I had in our conversation earlier, as we were speaking, I've talked about the diplomatic magnet that we used to have as a country. We've lost it actually with the current government under President Ruto. Kenya used to have that voice. We've seen the summits, the conferences were done in Nairobi, but now we've seen them shifting. And we even saw Felix Tshisekedi turning down Ruto's when he called them on board to chair the meeting about the M23 and the Rwandan crisis. So these all have a negative impact on the former premier's aim to get the seat, actually. And since this is also a position that attracts so many, we have so many interested parties like the European Union, the Americans. We also have the Russians. All these countries, all these outside, because it's a global, it's more of a geopolitical issue. So it attracts, and Kenya or Africa as a whole is where the new, it's called the Silicon Valley. Every mineral, every important technology that has the basis foundation or the nitty-gritties are all coming from Africa, especially Congo. That's why we've seen the war and the clashes.
Yeah.
So this might not augur well for Baba if we don't actually have our interests strategically. If we don't have our interests strategically, he might end up losing, and that will be very bad. However, we wish him all the best, and our president needs also to lie low on some of these issues because he has been on the forefront, and this might also be, and since he has had the issue that Castro narrated here about the abductions and the whatever as a country, we failed to manage our own system. We failed to control. The government has failed actually in controlling some of this system, and all this play. International system is all about. It's more of a one unit, but it reflects all. It reflects in every angle of life. So we've failed to control our own system. So that is where the question will be posed on Baba. If he has failed to clean his own house, will we manage outside? Okay. However, Baba stands, or the former premier stands as one of the most qualified and most experienced now politician or a diplomat in the current affairs. Far much even overqualified than even the Djibouti candidate. Because of the age-wise, the silver hair speaks a lot when it comes to leadership. So we stand a chance of gaining it, but unless we play our diplomatic cards well.
Oponyo.
I've had my brothers here speak, and I love the fact that at least there's some sort of patriotism. Though the people like Castro, the people who voted to make sure Raila goes to Bondo. So they are really surprised to see him even going to Addis Ababa and not Bondo. So that's why they'll throw us passions, saying on how the Djibouti candidate is very strong. Kenya cannot even compete with Djibouti on anything. Yes, Djibouti is strategically, because of the Suez Canal location, it has a lot of vast geopolitical interest. If you want to control the other side of Arab, you really do need Djibouti. But then the country is infested with a lot of violence, with a lot of crime. There's a lot of things happening in the same country. So Raila Amolo Odinga will become the AU in few days.
So you agree they have problems, but problems are much better here?
No, like Kenya is the United States of Africa. Why am I saying so? Kenya is well positioned. If you want to take any flight to anywhere across Africa, Kenya is strategically positioned for business-wise, for anything, for conferences, for anything. Be it even, that's why you see there's a lot of interest with the Americans here. even I saw people making laughing at the president when Trump was elected. Governments don't operate that way. That we expect, because there were some policies Biden was using. Now the new administration will come in and say, we are not doing this. Yes, I saw the other day there was a halt on the Haiti funding.
Yeah.
But then it is just a halt. It is not a stoppage. The US is restructuring its government through Elon Musk using the Department of Government Efficiency. So they have not like stopped the funding. That is not the things Kenyans don't get it. They like this dopamine, like Ruto, yani, like they like anything to see like Ruto is failing. When I know even the other day there was a lot of things happening in Haiti where ulikuwa unaona watoto wanajaribu kujifunza Kiswahili. Sasa vitu kama hizo. Hiyo ni mahali ambapo daily ulikuwa unasikia ni mtoto wa bunduki inalia from asubuhi hadi jioni.
Lakini talk about the
no, before nifike kidogo tu narudi tu AU na I know the relationship why the Haiti and the AU. So ukiangalia hivyo kumerudi na calmness Haiti. Watu wameanza hata kurudi shule, hospitali manini. So ukiangalia President Ruto hajaishindwa kura. Yeye alianza kusimama 1997 until sai. So hata mimi nacheka until nashika chini watu wakiniambia 2027 sasa ati kura ya mwisho ya huyu jamaa kutoka kwa siasa hii ya wananchi wa kawaida hata sasa tutamshinda. Hiyo ni ndoto ya mchana. So Ruto akishika Raila mkono asema anapeleka AU, ashamaliza mchezo.
Atafikisha?
No, ashafikisha. Tunangoja tu formalities, tunangoja yani hiyo siku ifike, ionekane kuna mapresident wanapanga line kupiga kura. Mapresident Raila amekutana nao ni more than 40. Huyo jamaa wa Djibouti hata kutafuta tu private jet kutembea kwa all these African countries ni shida. Sasa huyo jamaa ndo mnataka tupatie asimamie kiti cha wenyekiti wa African Union. Hiki ni kiti ambacho kiko strategic for Africa. Haihitaji mtu ambaye anaregarega. Ukiangalia mandate ya Raila Amolo Odinga anasema we are advocating for a borderless Africa. We do need a borderless Africa. I don't need a visa to go to Uganda. I don't need a visa to travel to West Africa. Makiu, uwezi hata toka hapa uende Benin. Uwezi toka hapa hata uende Togo. Uwezi toka hapa na ziko tu hii Africa. Uwezi toka hapa hata uende Malawi. There is a lot of restriction because of the French visa. Kwa sababu hao wako under the French, they were called by the French. So ukiangalia sana Raila Amolo Odinga, ukiangalia kwa manifesto yake anasema wanaenda kutoa hii mambo inaitwa nini? Hii mambo ya border. Afrika iko open. Ndio maana hata unapata nacheka sana watu wanasema ambapo President Ruto amefungua the Northern Kenya, sasa ati wa Somalia wataanza kuingia, sijui wa Ethiopia. Hii Afrika inaenda kwa kila mtu atakuwa anaingia. Ukiangalia hata hii Nairobi saa hii, wa Nigeria wakapa wengi sana. Watu wanatuuzia njugu hapa nje ni wa Burundi. Watu wanatuuzia njugu hapa wanatunyoa kwa vinyozi ni wa Rwandese. Lakini mnasema Kenya ni mbaya. So mimi naomba sana wa Kenya, as much as mko na chuki na Raila Amolo Odinga, tunaelewa. Hata juzi Raila Amolo Odinga amesema mpatie President Ruto nini, watu wakampiga vita vibaya sana. Uhuru kidogo anasema Gen Z mjitoke mjipiganie. Alafu sasa anafanya nini? Tulitoka kupigania uongozi, kujipigania wakati Uhuru alikuwa president. Alituua kama kuku. Vijana wengi, mimi vijana najua 1 on 1 walikulwa wengi sana. Wengi walipatikana katika Rivayala. Wengine pia hata waliuliwa katika protest hapa. Zile maandamano zote zimefanyika hapa za IBC must go, mimi nimeenda. Zile maandamano zenye Raila alikuwa na organize hapa za Uhuru must go, mimi nimeenda. Ndio maana nikiona kama maandamano inakuja naambia vijana, achana na hiyo mambo. Usiende, utauliwa bure, manake hujui maandamano ni ya nini. Kuna watu wana benefit kutoka wewe kwenda huko kwa maandamano. So tukirudi tu hapa kwa hiyo, tafadhali wa Kenya, hata kama uko na machungu gani na Raila Amolo Odinga, hata kama uko na roho mbaya gani na Raila Amolo Odinga, ama kama unamchukia kwa sababu yeye ni Mjaluo, ama kama unamchukia kwa sababu yeye maybe ni mfupi ama ni mrefu, tafadhali kwa sasa tushikane kama inji moja, tuseme tunapatia Raila hii kiti, aende AU, aweze kurepresent kama baba yetu. Ako only 80 years old. Hata kama una wish mambo mabaya kwa mtu wako 80, huyo ni mtu ambaye ako tu kwa bonus. Yaani anangoja tu siku yenye Mungu atasema sasa wewe kuja huku. Lakini huyo ni mtu bado wewe unataka ashindwe kura. Hiyo ni kukosa utu. Tunakosa utu kusema tunataka Raila Amolo Odinga apoteze kiti.
All right. Thank you so much. This is a discussion that we could go on and on and on and on. But because of time, as we wind up, maybe tuanze na Castro, kama uko na social media platforms, waambie.
Yeah, my social media platform, all of them in all social media platforms is Gakuna Jima Castro. Yeah, you can follow me there. sana sana kwanza TikTok ndio naanza kujenga, so you follow me at Gakuna Jimakas Show.
2027 uko kwenye debe?
Yeah, 2027 my other people, in fact they are the people who are asking me that I should go there, that I'm the people's defender, that I'm the person we are defending to have a new country, a new rebirth of our country. And I want to encourage young people, like even if we'll have an evil or a devil at State House, when you have angels in parliament, we can defeat the devil. So the parliament, that's where the Kenyans draw their voice from. That's where Kenyans draw their power from. So let us fight to go to the legislative assemblies so that we can make policies and procedures work. So, and I want to encourage young Kenyans to remain vigilant enough, remain informed enough, remain disciplined enough, and intimidated no.
Kevin, your social media platforms?
At Oswago Kevin, all of them. Oswago Kevin. Yes.
Any plan for 2027?
Yes, the plan is underway. Yes.
Okay.
Plan is underway. I'm eyeing Ndewa constituency.
All right.
Yes. Coming 2027. So my parting shot is to encourage every youth, anyone who feels like he wants to take up a position, because leadership ni kitu ya kila mtu. Umekubaliwa as long as you meet the requirements under the constitution. It's well and good. Kila mtu ajitume, ajielekeze pale. So that's my very best. Yes.
Thank you. Oponyo,
Yeah.
your social media platforms as well.
Just in all platforms, Oponyo Akole Eugene or Oponyo the Great. In all social media platforms. And my I have a very, very, very strong message to the young people. This country belongs to none other than all of us. We all belong here.
Sure.
We were born here. We'll marry here. We'll be buried here. So we just have to make home look like home. We don't have to be in a position whereby people will look at us in the generations to come and say there's nothing we did. If you look at it keenly, in the 2005 protests of the anti-government, they came up with the Ministry of the Youth. That's why we have this youthful ministry. If you look at it, even in 2013 also, there was now the resurgence of the National Youth Council. So the protest in 2013 brought about, 2012, brought about the National Youth Council. The protest in 2024 never came out with anything. In fact, it took some few people to power, which is not the same thing we really wanted to happen. So nothing of the substance happened to the young people. So I'm asking young people, if you still want to go out there to advocate for your own rights, if you still want to go there to advocate for your own grievances, we should not look at it from a pessimistic point. This country belongs to all of us, and we can do it. And in 2027, we don't have a defined constituency. Tunajaribu kufanya kazi Nairobi, tunajaribu kufanya kazi Kakamega. Wakenya wakiamua tusimame Nairobi, tutasimama Nairobi. Na Nairobi anywhere Nairobi. Tukiamua tusimame Dagoretti North, tuko na watu. Tukiamua tusimame Roysambu, tuko na watu. Tukiamua tusimame Emba, tuko na, like tukiamua tusimame mahali popote Nairobi, tunaweza nini. Lakini kuna tu jambo moja, lazima tukue bunge 2027. Na sisi tu tunataka vijana wengine wengi. Hata hii mambo na West ya Ruto must go. Tungekuwa tuna group vizuri kujipanga jinsi tutakuwa na wabunge wengi. Ndio maana ikifika 2028, 2027, 2028 finance bill, sisi wenyewe tunaweza vote out after the President Ruto will be voted in for the second time. Tunaweza mwambia hii finance bill yako hatuitaki. Lakini bila numbers shiko, hata tuseme aje tutaki finance bill na sisi hatupigi kura kama wabunge. Ni kama vile tunapiga Raila ati hatutaki akwe nini wa AU. Na hata upigi kura, unaona? So hata hii tuseme aje kama hatutajipanga, kama hata wewe kule unakotoka, msiogopa tiji siasa iko na nini, angalia pia mahali pia unaweza simama. Manake kuna watu huko hawawezi kuwa na ile energy ya kutaka kujitoa hapa nje, lakini wewe wanakuona kama kioo cha jamii. So ningeomba sana msiangalie kama uongozi ni kitu kibaya. Tujaribu hii kitu ni kama tu walimu, ni kama udaktari, lakini tusichukulie personal. Tusifikirie kupigana. Tusifikirie hata hapa unaona tumekuwa na a good conversation, lakini maybe watu wataiangalia from a point of tuko na machungu. Hapana. ni hali tu ya kueneza vijana waweze kujua hii ni siasa tu ya maneno. Siasa ni mchezo wa maneno.
Na wanasema
Asante.
I don't know why Oponyo is obsessed with President Ruto's second term when at his first term he has not even shown anything substantial that guarantees him for this second term. So hiyo yake anataka kusema ati 10 bila breaks. 2027 you're having a break, and that break Kenyans shall be looking at the track record to see whether this man deserves really a second term. And people will mark 2 years is a waste of time, so he only has 2 years again to waste it.
All right, guys, thank you so much for coming through. Sasa tukiendelea hapa tutamaliza. Asanteni sana, that was quite a discussion. Good job, and we wish you all the very best. I know all of you have plans for 2027. Wish you the very best. Oponyo hii pia ameniambia pia mimi nisilalie masikio. I am not sure, but tuseme tu not everyone is destined to be a politician. So wengine tunaongelelea tukua.
That is the reason tuko kwa heshima, tuko ndani, kwa sababu tuliambiwa hivyo na wazazi wetu. Si kila mtu anaweza kuwa mwanasiasa. Au wenyewe wakogopa kuwa wanasiasa. That's why tuko nao wanasiasa unaona.
The difference between a leader and a politician.
Okay.
These are two different things.
We need leaders.
You can be a leader and not a politician.
Not a politician.
Yes.
All right.
Leaders are mostly technocrats. These are people who work behind the scene to see things going on.
Yeah.
And politicians are those who come, the aesthetic ones. Mimi nimewatenga hii, nimefanya hii. Those are not the politicians.
So you can be a leader.